Evening all. Game 4 happened today. Gelfand playing white, Anand black. Hi, Chess Explained. Chris, Chess Explained.
Yeah, hi.
Okay, so in this game 4 we saw d4 again from Gelfand, and we saw a repeat of the Slav defense. So after knight c3, knight f6, we had e3.
Yeah, we see a repeat of game 2 for quite some moves, which yeah, maybe is a bit surprising from white's point of view. At least it's a bit surprising for me. It doesn't mean much, but I thought that it didn't really look like yeah, too inspiring for white, this kind of position. But well, let's see what happens. I think we follow game 2 up to the 10th move, so I think we discussed this this opening a bit in this video, so I think it doesn't make much sense to repeat all this. Basically what black is trying to do is to provoke this b3 move, and now bishop to d2 to get this bishop misplaced on the square. So
Yeah.
after both castles, black retreats sorry, to d6 with this bishop.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the position where Gelfand played rook c1 in game 2, I think.
Right, so a slight variation here then.
Yeah, it's sort of, unless white could also go e4 here, but if he doesn't want to go e4, then he sort of needs to play a move which is somehow suitable after black playing e5, because black is pretty much signaling that yeah, that he wants to play e5.
Yeah.
So queen c2 tries to be a more useful move than rook c1.
Yeah, so there's pressure on h7 here, which might be useful at some point.
Yeah.
Also, the queen might be well placed for the c file, but actually that's not significant, perhaps. But
Yeah,
so,
yeah, the rook's connected also. Yeah. Mm.
oh yeah, the rooks connected, saying hello to each other. So black breaks in the centre. Doesn't, again, he doesn't waste the move. Well, he doesn't play rook e8. He just plays e5 immediately, and white takes on d5 and plays e4.
Yeah, this is quite similar, yeah, to the second game, where also this was played. Of course, it really seems that this isolated pawn position is completely unattractive to Gelfand here. I think it's understandable. Queen on c2 is especially bad in this kind of structure, so I think it was clear that he wanted to go e4 here. But I think it's difficult, at least for me, to understand what's the great attraction of the setup, besides being that it's of course terribly solid, because the center is eliminated now completely. Then you get at least from the pawn structure perspective a complete symmetry.
Yeah. In fact, watch what happens on the D file, everyone, on YouTube. Something aesthetic happens in this game, which I think maybe one of the most interesting points about the game, if you watch the configuration on the D file very soon.
Yeah, the D file is very crowded already, but it gets worse.
So,
yeah, and no, it took on d4.
okay, and now knight takes d5. Because as we've noted before, knight takes d4. I think we noted before knight c5, but here actually the queen's protecting the bishop. I don't know, is knight c5 still the strongest sort of move in this position, or is there something stronger? Maybe it's not.
Yeah, one thing could be to capture on e4 twice and then knight f6. This could be an issue already, because this would threaten bishop h2, winning the
yes.
one pawn. It also sort of attacks the bishop, and you don't want to. Yeah, you don't really want to move this piece.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
maybe not super clear. Maybe white would have some compensation after bishop f3. Could be. It's not completely out of this world, but it's Yeah, it looks a bit fishy. But bishop e5, bishop e5, yeah, bishop e5, I think.
Oh, bishop e5, even stronger than bishop e2.
Could also be an idea. But you ran into you just walked into self pin, yeah. Bishop e3, bishop d4, rook 81. Okay.
Oh, right.
Okay, but I think we are
Yeah.
knight d4. I think it's maybe problematic even for other reasons. So he wants to really open it up completely with knight d5.
Yep.
And this looks yeah, quite logical here. Black exchanges, and now knight f6 gets his bishop c8 yeah, into play somewhat.
Yeah. And both sides have these kind of dislocated pawns, loose pawns,
Yeah.
to collect. So they're soon going to collect each other's loose pawns. But first h3 prevents bishop g4 maybe? And
Yeah, I think.
okay, so bishop d7, no hurry to take on d5, he can't anyway because of the h7 pressure. He's going to actually take even more time to take on d5. He can take at leisure for a moment on d5 for a few more moments. So rook ad1, and we have this aesthetic. The d file's completely crowded here after rook ad1. So that's one of the most interesting aspects of the game. Being cynical, no, it's a good game.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, well, it's certainly not a game which shows yeah, which is full of mistakes or something. In that respect, it's a good game, but I think it's a bit disappointing from White's point of view what yeah, what he got here, and I think it's exactly nothing. Yeah, Black will get a tempo here with rook c8 and then rook c5, as we will see in the game.
Yeah.
And well, it's just complete symmetry then, and you can even argue that yeah, Black's a bit more active here, and what White gets is as you see here, Black plays h6 now. I think
Yeah.
it's hard to make out this move if you want to get d5 back, and you want to.
White cannot protect this. I think we should point this out. I think b5, is that the move, b5, or is there something stronger?
Yeah, b5 is fine. I think after that, White would fight for equality already, and now d5 is captured. You've got knight c3 maybe coming up.
Yeah.
Black has got his rooks into play already. Okay,
Yeah.
he needs to be cautious about this d file.
Yeah.
This is always an issue, the rook on d1 versus the queen on d8. But, well, he decides to go knight f5 now, grab the bishop pair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the bishop cannot go back here, I guess. Well, White would be keeping... well, this would be dangerous for Black, wouldn't it? d6 or stuff like that. d6 or...
Yeah, this is one thing. Then it's hard to... Well, you cannot tolerate this knight on f5.
No,
this is the main thing. And,
so it's taken off.
yeah, it's funny. Just a funny anecdote. I watched the live broadcast from the U.S. Championships from a few days back, and there was a nice little story that one grandmaster actually said it's not knight e5 but knife f5. It's like a knife in the throat. This kind of piece. So you don't want to have this knife near your king.
No, f5, especially with h6, it's further weakened. You can't evict it or anything.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's more painful. Yeah. So.
And you also, yeah. Go ahead.
So sorry, we've got a slight imbalance, but it's nothing too exciting at the moment. The d5 is further pressurized now with rook c5, rather elegantly, I suppose, to attack that d5.
Yeah, this is really the main point here. If White would have a little bit of time to get his pieces coordinated, just one or two moves, then maybe he could try a little bit to probe around with his bishop pair. But the bad thing is that this rook d5 is such an active piece in the middle of the board, and it's already threatening some things. If you look at White plays rook fe1 now.
Yeah.
This looks pretty normal, and then rook d5,
Yeah.
and then you've got the first threats already here coming up. Black threatening to win immediately now with rook takes e1.
Oh, of course, yes, the pin on d1, yes. Oh, sorry, with bishop h2 at the end of it, yeah.
Yeah. So this is already a bit a bit shaky. So white needs to play some moves that he maybe, yeah, he doesn't really want to play. And
Actually, yeah, if he plays rook e8, that might be quite bad as well. Queen takes e8, and the queen's threatening to come in.
yeah, things like queen e2, queen e5 also would be double attack on f5 and h2.
Mind you, rook e1 might parry this here. Possibly. Actually, rook e5 here, and it's uncomfortable still. I'm not totally sure. Okay, but yeah, rook takes e8 doesn't look right.
Yeah, on rook e8 maybe just also. What about knight e8? By the way.
Knight takes e8. Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
this also sort of threatening bishop h2.
Ooh, bishop h2. Yes.
It's not. It doesn't win material, but it sort of threatens to get rid of the bishop pair. White cannot move the bishop because of yeah, check on h2. Maybe this is also a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But queen e8 also looked fine. It doesn't.
Yeah.
That doesn't scare me. If I would need to take with the queen,
Yeah.
it was so nicely centralized. So, and it's also the bishop pair really. It really helps the bishop pair side if the pawns are not symmetrical. Like if we, for instance, if we would have a situation where, let's say, black h pawn would be missing. This is a bad example. Or let's just say a black would have his this b7 pawn on e6, yeah, like 4 against 3 on the king side and 2 against 1 on the queen side. Then the bishop pair would really work,
Right.
trying to push the pawns. But here there's nothing much to attack. Only if you get rid of all the major the heavy pieces here, then at the end you can think of something like bishop c8. But black has so much time to get a proper setup. It's just nothing, I guess, and he needs to play this bishop c3 now.
Yes.
Then black even exchanges more.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's not a crowd please with. I think the symmetrical pawn structures aren't usually that crowd pleasing, and here, yeah, there's simplification, more simplification on the way. But if anything, black has a very nice control in the position, doesn't he, on the d file and
Yeah,
points
yeah,
at
you're
the king.
right. White now needs to. It's not like super difficult, but if you would play some nothing moves here, let's say a4 or something, and black would really get this kind of position with the knight against the bishop, then yeah, he can sometimes it can be even fine for black if you control the d file and have some ideas to maybe play rook d2, queen d4. Imagine a position where the bishops are exchanged. Bishop d4 now. And what Gelfand did was immediately getting rid of the queen. And this is, I think, a very good idea because this queen-knight combination potentially could be an issue. So this queen c2, I think, is a good move, a necessary one maybe.
Right.
It's not like the other things are losing, but I think it's just helpful for white to play this queen c8, what we see in the game. Bishop d4 now.
Oh, right, yes, forcibly get rid of the queens. Bit naughty for the crowd. Unfortunately, when the queens come off, some people fall asleep in the game. So queen c8, forcibly get, but it's the safe thing to do here. And the bishop will be kind of skewing the pawns if it was taken.
Yeah.
So g6, in fact, was played, and the bishop just retreated here. So g4.
Yeah, g6 is a precise move to get this bishop off this c8 diagonal to c8.
Actually, there's a little trap here, isn't there? Knight takes g4, rook e8 check. Or does this backfire? No, there's no. Is there a back row mate at the end? No, it's check. It's check. It wins the queen.
Yeah, this kind of stuff you can easily overlook in a blitz game because you automatically assume that he would need to take back here. Okay, but h5 is, I think, very precise. And then, yeah, white needs to take. He doesn't have a bishop move anymore.
Okay, so bishop f3. Okay, attacking a pawn. That the pawns are now moved, one of them onto the dark square away from the bishop. Good safety policy to get the pawns off, sometimes off the colour of the bishop.
Yeah, this is now nicely done. B6 and A5, Rook D6, and then everything's protected nicely. And yeah, time to shake hands, really.
Yeah,
it's just nothing.
Unfortunately, it's not like one of those World Tau games or Sparrow games from the Olympiad, which I'll be doing later. I've got some wins to do from another Olympiad, but it's just they're very, very strong players. I mean, Gelfand's been up to 2760. I was looking he's been up there on the FIDE rating as well, towards 2800. He's like world class and ranked 20 in the world. So it's good. It's a tight match at the moment. But okay, so knight d5 might be threatening knight f4. That's so white does play g3 cautiously.
Yeah.
And okay, the has the knight got any useful purpose otherwise? He went knight e7. What do you think of other alternatives? They don't really. I guess they don't really do anything. Knight b4.
Yeah, he just wants to. Yeah, it doesn't really do much there. The knight doesn't have a good square. If you,
Actually,
let's say a3 and you just need to return.
This would be big trouble actually. After rook, you end up losing in this
Yeah,
formation.
you can easily get yourself into trouble.
Yeah.
So you just wanted to have a position, a knight on e7, king to f6 to e6, and then black plays king f6 e6 until hell freezes over.
So king d7.
Yeah, white cannot do anything. So it's just nothing.
So here they shook hands. So let's imagine. So you'll say, okay, this is the final position which they shook hands, draw, move 34. But rook c7. So we're saying king f6. Is that the right move?
Yeah, I think maybe just king f6 to e6, and then you just do nothing.
Fortress kind of.
White cannot make any progress here.
Yeah, the rook and bishop are not going to coordinate on any pawns once they're on dark squares. These pawns are safe enough. Yeah, the knight's got nice access again to f5 like in a previous game. Nice, yeah, so this is a solid game. Okay, should we do a brief summary then? Another Slav, following the same moves as an earlier game, with this disruptive bishop b4, which is actually seen in quite a few opening variations to get this bishop in an awkward place.
Yeah, this is seen in the Queen's Indian, the Catalan, and in a way it's in the Bogo Indian, and in quite a lot of Queen's pawn openings to dislocate this bishop. So this position would be much better in comparison if white would have a bishop on b2. Yeah, but I'm a bit really. It's not like I think I'm pretty realistic about this kind of games. You cannot expect those fireworks kind of games all the time.
Yeah.
But it's a bit disappointing from White's point of view that you really didn't get near the slightest kind of pressure. It's difficult, of course, nowadays to really get something with White, but it's an opening that was repeated here, so you could expect this. And it's really a bit lame because White does have other options like on move 4. Play knight f3, something sharper, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is if you consider you would prepare this with the computer, you can easily imagine this kind of moves being played out. It's very logical. Knight f6, bishop b7, rook e8, rook c8. These are the kind of moves you would probably play in a blitz game also. So the first stuff you look at, and I don't know. I think it looks like pretty much nothing, and it's not like it's difficult for Vichy to find those kind of moves, and I think he didn't really set so many problems there.
Yeah. So the aggressive.
I know. It's always difficult for me to criticize those kind of players because they're immensely strong, but I think he needs to win a game at some point, unless you think he would have equal chances in the tiebreak, which I don't.
Yeah, maybe
So
that's what Vichy's strategy is, just to get to the tiebreak to the. Is it 30-minute chess with increment? If they get,
yeah, I'm not sure, maybe 25 minutes or something, but it's not a strategy for him to get into the tiebreak for sure. But well, he's got black. What can he do? He's a classical player, and it's not like he's playing, I know, the Benko Gambit suddenly, or some other
but
not too solid opening.
but but
It's just useless.
but actually, in the match against Kramnik, it was quite dynamic, wasn't it? His king was in the centre. There were double pawns and games.
Yeah,
It
sure,
was very,
sure.
very exciting, those Slavs. So this is
Yeah,
kind of the duller side of the Slav being visited in this match.
yeah, but yeah, the thing is, it's just what White is doing. You cannot. Well, Chronic also allowed this sharp stuff to happen, which Gelfand doesn't really play into here. Um, it takes two to tango. This is the saying. Yeah, it's not a matter of one player playing sharp, and it's really not necessary for someone to really sharpen it up with black. Yeah, like force sharpening of the position. It's just he likes more, I think, to counter attack if the other side is trying something. But yeah, this is really a bit.
Actually, I've just noticed something. I don't know if we should mention this. Bishop takes f6 here. Black would play. What would Black play here? In this position? If Bishop
Yeah,
f6 was
well,
played?
G takes f6 is no problem.
G
But,
takes f6.
yeah, I don't think it's a problem really.
Right, because Queen takes f6. There might be a nasty thing going on here.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good to mention. Rook
Check.
f8 is a nice self-mate here.
Ouch.
Bishop
Ouch.
f8. Yeah.
That would be painful. So G takes f6 was actually assumed then in this position.
Yeah, I was only thinking if there's some tactics or something, but I don't think there are. No. Yeah, but you can do that. It's no big deal, I
Yeah,
think.
it's no big deal here because the d-file, the bishop coordinating on f2, that's not good, is it?
Yeah, black has some counter attack.
Yeah.
The bishop is somewhat stupid on f5 in the structure. If it would be safely positioned on c4 or something, then maybe there would be something. But this way,
Yeah.
it's just pretty solid. Too much pieces exchanged.
It's an interesting forcing move possibility though. Yeah. So okay. So bishop c5 now. Again, not minding bishop f6 here, and that was rejected just for queen c2. Okay, so bishop d4, and then we got the exchange, and then it settled down tactically. we get black constructing the fortress, impenetrable fortress, with the king making its way if needed to protect the knight.
Yeah, but just one thing about a match strategy. Gelfand always stresses that he plays game after game, and he doesn't really believe in something like a match strategy. I'm not sure. I think there are some aspects maybe, but one thing which is certainly true, I think the if you've got two players and one player is considered a little bit of an outsider in a match, Vichy is the favorite, yeah. So I think it's always the shorter the distance gets in terms of the amount of games, the more closer this kind of match would get. So maybe Gelfand is just saying, okay, I'm playing solidly, let's see what happens. And if it gets close to the end, like game 10 or something, you can always step up the risk, and if you win then there's really little room to come back, yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe thinks it's
That'll be mounting the stakes though for just one. Yeah, the stakes are like huge, aren't they? Then.
This kind of decisive game situations are something else. So maybe this is the kind of idea to you cannot sometimes. Well, chess is not like witchcraft, where you can out of nowhere pull some tactical fireworks, and nobody could, even players like Tar couldn't. If you look at Tar games where there's really solid players, you don't see any fireworks because they simply pull the plug so early, and Tar cannot sacrifice anything. There are games like this, and nowadays, when with defense very much improved, it's sometimes difficult. But you need to take a little bit of risk, and this was kind of the no risk approach. So this was I think the bleakest game so far. What can you do? But let's hope for Anand with white. Maybe he trying to tackle the Grunfeld again, or we see some other opening. No.
Yep. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hope everyone on YouTube got something out of this. Okay. Okay. Thanks very much. It will be on both our channels. See you in the next game. Thanks very much.
Yeah, I guess on Thursday. Yeah. Okay. See you then.
Cheers.
Cheers.